I spent 3 years building a massive cyberpunk city in Minecraft, so if you like cyberpunk cities in Minecraft, stick around to see how I built this massive cyberpunk city in Minecraft.
We are going to need to move this entire storage system over to our new base, which is up in that direction. It took me ages to come up with a design, and then I came across this piece of artwork by Nikita Gritson, which I absolutely loved, so I based my design off that. Afterwards, Silver came over and gave me a hand sorting out all of my belongings into our new storage room. Here's our pretty building.
She's like painfully pretty.
With a massive copper field. I think you'll agree, this is the best part. We've got 2 walls filled with chests. Nice. I'm struggling to figure out where to put the next building, so I think what I'm going to do is get rid of all of the trees so I can start to plan out where some more buildings are going to go. Across the course of 6 hours and 2 streams, we removed over 10,000 logs. That is a lot of wood.
That's what she said!
At least now I know where I want to build the next building. The next building is going to be in the industrial wasteland area of our base. Now just imagine this. A path leading up to a big barricaded wall going through a toxic wasteland area filled with windmills and oil rigs that then goes to another wall, which is the entrance to our big cyberpunk city, which you can see off in the distance behind the wall with these huge skyscrapers towering over you.
Wow.
I may be getting a little bit carried away. I am absolutely getting carried away with this project, but I'm absolutely obsessed. We started by destroying these 2 massive mountains, and then we built the perimeter wall and finally started doing some terraforming. We've got a long way to go. Before I could start building the first building, we needed a foundation to put it on, so I built this massive wasteland area, and then we got started on creating this cyberpunk mine so we could gather materials for the city. After that, we built a wall to enclose it all and keep it safe from mobs, and then threw in some windmills to add a little bit of visual interest. And here it is, we finally finished it. Believe it or not, this is actually 10 hours of work.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life.
We've got a bunch of rocks and campfires hidden as well, just to add a little bit more life into this area. Some of the Arcadians came over to help me clear this mountain and make space for the next build, but in the process, I spilt my cup of tea all over my keyboard.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
What goes next to C?
Next to C,
Yeah.
B on the right.
After about an hour or so of taking keys off the keyboard, drying them, and then putting them back on, we came up with a new rule.
Don't spill tea on it again.
No, I won't.
Yes.
I won't. No more tea allowed on the desk. Tea spillages aside, to celebrate passing my driving test on the first time, might I add.
We get it! You passed first time! We understand!
I decided to build a beautiful car showroom. I think it's fair to say that relocating is done. We've got enough buildings over here now to say that this is definitely a base. So now it's time to move on to phase 2. Phase 2 is to establish a city centre. I thought it could be really cool to have a big alien tree coming out just where this dirt pillar is, and that'll mark the centre of our city, and it'll be the only tree in the entire city. However, it is a little bit of a special tree because there is some lore attached to it. And that is that this is the surveillance centre of the city. Mega corporation that runs it employs these little parrot drones that keep an eye on all of the civilians. They've got hidden cameras in their eyes. Now that we've got the city centre done, it's time to build our very first skyscraper that's going to be right here. All of these shulker boxes are filled with different materials to build it. It's a really big build. It's taken me a couple of hours to gather all of these materials, and we even had to build a wool farm because there's a little trick that we're doing in this build that makes it look really cool, but we needed so much wool. Anyways, let's get building it. We started the same way as you should begin any skyscraper, by building the bottom, and we built this awesome little foyer area for the supposed hotel inside. Then we extended the walls all the way up, built an elevator, and worked on the facade using lots of different coloured walls and concrete to create this cool glowing effect in the windows. Then on the top floor, we started working on the actual casino with the balcony and the roof, and then we added some details to the front of the building.
That is so fetch.
The casino's finished, but now I need to cover up that ugly wool farm that we used to build it. Let's go do that. It was just a simple little build to cover it up, but I also incorporated another portal, so now it looks like a crazy inventor has built a portal inside his garage, which I absolutely love. I mean, look at this. Come on, the little computer and like the server over here. Yeah, it's giving Rick and Morty.
I'm Pickle Rick!
Now, I wanted to move on to a more practical build right next to the casino, and this is to house all of our villagers, and there's going to be a big skyscraper around it. I wanted villagers so we could save time on gathering resources, because to get all of the resources for the casino took me about 4 hours, and hopefully I can stop spending money in other Arcadian shops. But before I can do that, I am going to have to buy out the entirety of Scuba's shop. It is yet again time to start building, and then after that, we're going to get some villagers. So, here we go. For the building that was going to house our villagers, I thought it was only fitting to include a lot of emerald colours, seeing as this was where we were going to get most of our emeralds from, and the rest of our materials. And then it was clear that this building was emerald ink. Well, I've built the building, but it is missing some villagers. Big thank you to Triss, who donated 40 emerald blocks, which will soon be inside the building. A total of 6 hours later, and all of the villagers are finally in place, and I can get rid of this dirt monstrosity that I was using to get them all the way up there. The buildings so far are coming along pretty well, apart from this one which is missing some emeralds, but we're working on that. Next, I wanted to work on the building going here. This one's been a difficult one to plan because of the height difference between this ginormous skyscraper and this little starter base. First, we need so many end rods for this build, so we're going to need to build a blaze farm and a chorus fruit farm. After building the blaze rod farm, I headed to the end to gather up some chorus fruit so that we had everything we needed to make end rods. Then it was time to head to my secret Santa present from Cells, which is this iron farm, because we need about 1,400 iron trapdoors, which is an absolute insane amount. Do you mind? I am trying to. Thank you very much. Here's my live reaction from when I first saw this Christmas present. Zilpa's gone ahead and built me an entire iron farm. And she even got me the pet frog that I asked for. Gilbert, we will come back for you, don't you worry. Pet frogs aside, it's time to get building. This building is Arc Industries, a cross between Stark Industries from Marvel and Arcadia. It's owned by a rich billionaire that lives in the city and kind of secretly controls everybody. Right, enough of all of this messing about. We have got several other skyscrapers to build around here. We need to finish our city centre so we can move on to the next phase. So, for the last time in this phase, let's get a building. Start off with I built the Juice Diner. In a cyberpunk city, life is pretty fast, so you've got to be able to consume your meals really quickly, which is why the Juice Diner blends them all up. The restaurant is still lacking interior, but I built a penthouse apartment, and then we moved on to the Mafia skyscraper headquarters. Bit of a mouthful, I know. Now this was to enclose our cactus farm, and also where we could have some secret Mafia meetings. Although it's not as secret as the actual HQ, it's kind of a power game. You know, we can watch the whole city whilst we have our meetings. I really like the interior for this one because it had a lot of mushroom heads in it. Ta-da! We've done it! Finally, every single side of this roundabout now has a building on it, which makes it feel like an actual city centre because it's surrounded, apart from obviously some gaping big gaps. But these will get filled eventually, but we definitely now have an official city centre. Bravo! Also, look at the new Mushroom Mafia headquarters with the hologram mushroom head. I love it. We had a city centre, but we had nowhere for our citizens to live, so I got very carried away and built a lot of accommodation. That was a lot of building. You may have noticed that I started building in creative mode, and that's because the SMP that I started building this city on has now ended. It actually ended quite a while ago. But I wanted to finish this project, and I was kind of struggling for build ideas because a lot of the builds are starting to look the same. I enlisted the help of the Minecraft Cyberpunk King, Sir Durple, and we had a little meeting and discussed building techniques. I won't tell you too much about it, I will just show you the clips.
I wouldn't normally have a city where all the buildings are very similar in color. Like, I know there's a lot of color here breaking that up, but if you look past all the billboards and the lights, and they're all just dark gray. Other than that, I mean, it's a really cool looking city so far.
Thank you. Oh, that actually means so much coming from you. That's really cool to hear.
Well, it's always cool to see these sorts of things.
This is so stolen from you, this interior. Like, basically everything in here.
Yeah. You didn't just, like, copy the whole thing over. Very strongly inspired, but then at the same time, you know, you did your own thing. This one's got, like, a lighter gray tone. But more of that dotted throughout the city would definitely help out.
Got a few smaller skyscraper designs.
That's really nice.
Thank you.
That looks a little bit like an older building. You could paste that and then plonk something else on top of it. When it comes to Cyberpunk, one of the things is that the expansion cannot keep up with population growth. If you look at a lot of Cyberpunk cities, you'll see these shanty towns built over the top of other buildings, try and add a few more apartment rooms into the building. So if you had a couple of these in district together, putting like a container shanty town over the top of all of them, connecting them all up together.
Yeah.
Towards your kind of old town, you want to be careful that it doesn't feel too well thought out. I don't know if you've ever played Cyberpunk itself, but you see there's like the central area that has beautiful skyscrapers. It's well planned out. In some of the other areas, it's just old buildings with shanty towns running all the way across the rooftops and stuff like that. And connect a little bit of city planning in there, or a lack of city planning.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Those are some really cool buildings.
Yeah, well, this has been really, really helpful, actually. Thank you.
There's a base here for a very cool city. You just got to keep it up. I mean, you're on the right track. Just try and straighten out some of your roads.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
The main bits of feedback were to have straighter roads, plan to have it looking less planned, and of course, shanty towns.
Of course!
And to try and incorporate some more colour, like with these skyscrapers. He does have a point, these roads are quite curvy. Anyways, I guess it's time to get building again. The roads are as near as they're going to get to completion right now because I want to leave space to add in some more so we can have them going in between buildings. But now it's time to move on to the next phase. Adding some older buildings in with the newer buildings to make it look like the newer buildings are more new and make it look like the city has a little bit more character.
Sounds easy to me.
This was something that Derpal mentioned, and definitely something that I think we can easily implement to give this city a lot more history. I'm going to start by pasting these skyscrapers down somewhere probably in this area to kind of give that old town effect, and then probably build some more bigger skyscrapers like these ones on top of them. Totally forgot that I'm going to have to add in stations for these monorails. Okay, that's something we need to consider. I've been working on this Cyberpunk City for just over 3 years now, and my voice has dropped about 2 octaves.
I spent 3 years building a massive cyberpunk city in Minecraft.
Yeah, I'd quite like to finish this Cyberpunk City before I die of old age, so I'm gonna need to lock in and finish this project. First, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing so this 3 years hasn't been a total waste of time. And whilst you're at it, how about leaving a like? Have you done it yet? Where are you going? We're almost done. There's literally just one more time lapse and then we're finished. The city was starting to look great, there were still a few empty spaces. So to introduce some more styles of builds, I went onto Planet Minecraft and copied and pasted some skyscrapers from there into the city. And if you'd like to download the skyscrapers for yourself, I will leave a link in the description to the page on Planet Minecraft, and I'll also leave credit to the builders who built them. After we'd finally filled out our city, it was time to add a little bit more life, because whilst it was looking great, it looked like it had no inhabitants. buildings. And the best way to add life into a city is cars. And also like a bunch of advertisements and street food. Okay, maybe there's more than one way of adding life into a city. Sir Durple, who we spoke to earlier in this video, actually has a tutorial wheel that you can download that is filled with loads of street furniture and cars and cyberpunk decorations. So I copied and pasted a bunch of the stuff over into our world to make it feel more alive. Again, not taking credit for any of the builds Sir Durple built, and I'd like to thank the creators that made these, because without them this city probably wouldn't have been done for like another 2 to 3 years. Go and check out Sir Durple in the description, as well as the creators that created the skyscrapers. Oh my gosh, guys, it is looking so good, and we've even finished the monorail. Look at this from Sir Durple. Some of you may know that Sir Durple actually built a cyberpunk metro station for the Minecraft YouTube channel, and look how cool it is. Doing stuff like this just makes the world feel so much more alive. It's so cool. We have actually forgotten someone who I swore to that we wouldn't forget, so we need to go get them. And that is our secret Santa present, Gilbert. Oh my gosh, I thought he was on fire. Look how cute he is. Come on, Gilbert. I told you we wouldn't forget you, so we're gonna take you to the Cyber City, and you can stay in the Mushroom Mafia headquarters. Oh, look at him, he's so cute. Flying frog. Is it really a wise idea to leave a frog in charge of a whole city? I guess we'll find out. Yay, Gilbert's safe. There we go, Gilbert. Oh, Gilbert, see, didn't I tell you we wouldn't forget you? Look at your brand new office. What do you think? Okay, oh, well, I take it that's a good thing. You enjoy your new office, Gilbert. And I am going to enjoy some beauty shots of the Cyberpunk City with some shaders, and it'll be nighttime in this rain.
Cyber City. People call it the City of Dreams, but for those of us living in the gutters, it's a nightmare. I've known these streets since I could walk. They sparkle for the rich, but for us, the ones who serve their meals, clean their filth, and build their towers, they give us nothing, just more debt and more chains. I watched my father break his back for these corporations. They called him essential, but treated him like trash. When he died, all they left me was his worn-out boots and a mountain of bills. My sister, she didn't make it either. Caught in the crossfire between gangs, fighting for scraps while the billionaires sip champagne in their penthouses. They built this city brick by brick on our bones. Every neon sign, every shining skyscraper is paid for with our blood. But now, we've had enough. We're tearing it down, and the revolution is coming. And when it does, these billionaires will fall like the towers they hide behind. I used to think there was no way out, that we were meant to suffer, to break and to fade away, but now I know better. Now I'm ready to fight. You ready to join us? Because if you're not with us, you're against us.
Oh my god, girl, my voice is not made for this.